You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, Denver Nuggets fans? And welcome on into your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Not the best game from the Denver Nuggets. That's two pretty ugly games in a row from Denver, but I think we can all point to the common denominator as to why those games were so ugly, as Nikola Jokic was not playing once again in this game tonight, out for personal reasons. We'll talk about that impact and just how the Nuggets are a borderline lottery team. Maybe even not even borderline. Maybe they are just a lottery team without Nikola Jokic. That's how much he means to this squad. But this is your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Thank you guys for rocking with me here today on the program. Today's episode of your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. And for anybody that watched me on the Locked On Broncos postcast, appreciate you guys doing double duty today here on the channel. So do me a favor, guys, make sure to like this video and smash that subscribe button if you want some more content right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. But I do Locked On Nuggets, Locked On Buffs, Locked On Broncos. So like I said, double duty for the boy here today. But ugly. That is the word of the day for the Denver Nuggets as they failed to score 100 points. The Memphis Grizzlies beat them down 105-90. Now, the silver lining in this game is they get to play them again in less than 48 hours. They'll have a day off in Memphis tomorrow before they come back once again. Kind of a weird scheduling hitch there as they will play the Memphis Grizzlies in what I believe will be an NBA Cup in-season tournament, whatever you want to call it, game here on Tuesday night. But real quick on Nikola Jokic. Actually, I'll save this thought because I want to focus on the game more as a whole without him there, and then we'll talk a little bit Jokic and what may or may not be going on with him a little bit later on in the course of the program. But I mean, the big thing of today is, like I said, briefly there on the open. I mean, they are it's black and white. It's night and day. This team with Nikola Jokic versus this team without Nikola Jokic, and without Nikola Jokic, they are a bad team, which is frustrating because, I know Aaron Gordon's not out there either. Do we expect the outcome of this game to maybe be a little bit different if Aaron Gordon's out there? Sure. Do the Nuggets have a better chance to win? Absolutely. But the problem with the Nuggets tonight, one thing that Aaron Gordon would not necessarily help with is their spacing and their inability to score. The Nuggets' leading scorer in the game tonight was Julian Strawther off the bench with 19 points. He outscored every single one of the Nuggets starters despite only playing 25 minutes. And, every single player, there was not a single player that played tonight that was a positive in the box plus minus. Everybody was a minus here tonight. And look, I mean, I can't get too wrapped up into it, right? Like I said, it's not like Jokic is hurt. He's just dealing with some personal stuff, but it's a bit, I don't even know if it's shocking because, you kind of come to expect the Nuggets not to be as good without Nikola Jokic. It's just kind of sad is maybe the right word to use. It's frustrating how bad they are without Big Honey out there, without the big fella. And look, we know who Nikola Jokic is. He's the best player in the NBA. He's the early front runner to win MVP again. If he does do it this year, that'll be the second time that he's won consecutive MVP awards. And frankly, probably should have just been going all the way through if it wasn't for the Joel Embiid robbery that happened a couple of years ago at MVP. But Denver got the championship that year. So I guess that's all that matters at the end of the day. But again, you have two guys in Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And I don't think this is unfair because, when you break down the dollars and cents, when you have three max contract players, you expect to be able to be competitive without one of the other guys not being out there. Unfortunately for the guy that's the other max contract player, Nikola Jokic, who was not playing, and frankly, he's in a different level. Dollars and cents aside, he's MVP level type of player, whereas Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are a little bit fluky as max contract players is probably the best way that I can say it. Nikola Jokic makes MPJ and Jamal Murray that much better. And the fact that these guys have been unable to step up without him is definitely frustrating. And I said it on the show last time that Jokic is the straw that stirs this drink. There's no question about that. But when you have two guys that are making the type of bread that they do, in particular Jamal Murray, who you just opted to sign to a second max contract extension, which essentially hinders your roster, forces Aaron Gordon to take a pay cut. I shouldn't say forces, but shout out AG for wanting to come back. Maybe could have got more money elsewhere. You need to be able to lean on Michael Porter Jr. You need to be able to lean on Jamal Murray. And MPJ was good against New Orleans on what was that, Friday night in the first half, 20 points. But in the second half, non-existent. Jamal Murray tonight, not great. I thought he was good in regards to trying to play the facilitator role. But 13 points for Jamal, 1 of 6 for 3, 6 of 15 from the field. That's not going to cut it, man. That is just not going to cut it. And you see the deficiencies and the struggles of guys like Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. get masked at times when Nikola Jokic is out there. And like I said, Jokic brings out the best in his teammates. So when Jamal Murray's popping off and MPJ's in rhythm with the catch and shoot threes, a lot of that is because of how Nikola Jokic runs the offense, how he sets the tone on offense, and the amount of attention that he draws to himself, which allows everybody else around him to be that much better and get that much better opportunities. And you see when you take Joker away that this team is mediocre at best. And I'm not trying to, be too hard on them, but like this, back to the facts. And look, Memphis is a good team this year. One of the more surprising teams in the Western Conference. Their defense has given teams fits. I think it was Golden State who they played in the game leading up to the Denver game. And I think it was Draymond Green after the game talked about how, the Warriors were unable to kind of get set offensively. Memphis 8-6, but more importantly, 5-2 at home. Denver now 7-5, 2-3 on the road. But there's some issues here tonight, folks. Dario Saric, getting some run. He was at least serviceable here once again. 10 points, 10 rebounds. You like to see that. So a double-double for the big man. And 3 assists along with 2 steals tonight for Dario. So, you like to see that Dario's at least, looking the part out there a little bit. He was a -5 in the box plus minus, but I think that speaks to the Nuggets' struggles as a whole. Peyton Watson tonight, only 7 points. He was a -10, had a steal, a block, 2 assists, and 5 boards. Michael Porter Jr., though, the worst in the box plus minus for the Denver Nuggets, which is just straight up unacceptable when you don't have Nikola Jokic out there. 10 points, -15 in the box plus minus, 0 of 4 from 3. I mean, you're not going to win many games with Michael Porter Jr., not at least finding some sort of a rhythm from beyond the arc. 4 of 12 from the field, 3 total rebounds, which is low for him. I believe he's averaging right around 6 or 7 boards a game at this point. And then assist, 27 minutes played for MPJ, not his night. Jamal Murray, 13 points, -3, 6 turnovers for Jamal, 6, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 7 assists, and 6 total rebounds. Jamal just not good enough here tonight. Christian Brown, he was a -2, but CB's been pretty steady throughout the course of the season. His numbers are pretty much on par with what we've kind of come to expect with CB throughout this first handful of games, a little over 10 games into the season. He had 13 points, a steal, 4 assists, 4 boards, -2, 0 of 2 from 3, but we know that CB's a little hit or miss. And the bench was just not doing it tonight. Vlatko, 13 minutes, 2 points. DeAndre Jordan in 14 minutes with 4 points. He was a -10. Russell Westbrook, -10 in 23 minutes played with 12 points. And then, as I said, Julian Strawther, kind of the lone bright spot here with 19 points. I'll talk a little bit about Straw on the bench here as we move forward throughout the course of the program. But the big takeaway of the day, like I said, is the Denver Nuggets are nothing. I repeat, nothing without Nikola Jokic. And that is frustrating because, when LeBron would miss a game or Dwayne Wade would miss a game, with the big 3 back in the day, or Chris Bosh would miss a game, right? The Miami Heat would still figure out ways to win these games. And, insert any, team with a 3-headed monster here. I'm trying to think of some of the good ones off the top of my head, right? Steph misses a game, you need Steph. But if Clay would miss a game, you still had Steph and Draymond out there, right? Boston, Jason Tatum misses a game. Jaylen Brown misses a game, right? They have the Derek Whites of the world to kind of pick up the slack and do some dirty work. Even back in the day with the Spurs, a team that I love to say that the Nuggets should be trying to emulate. Tony Parker goes down for a game. Manu's not there for a game. Timmy D's, down and out for a game. These are teams that would figure out ways to win these games. And not every time, right? Losses are going to happen, but here's what I'll say. Nikola Jokic is playing the last 2 games. Denver's probably 2-0 in those games, or at the very least 1-1, at the very least. So not having Joker out there clearly having its implications. Hopefully he'll be back. I haven't seen anything in regards to his status for the next game on Tuesday against the same team in the Memphis Grizzlies. My gut tells me this is not reporting or anything like that. But since it's a personal reason, and like I said, we'll kind of dive into some of those thoughts here a little bit later on in the program, My thoughts is they give him another game off, and then maybe he'll try to come back here. Let me pull up their schedule because I think they come back home after that. Yeah, they'll come home to play the Dallas Mavericks on the 22nd. So that's on Thursday. So just kind of, gut kind of reaction here is Denver might have to go for a third game in a row without Nikola Jokic. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But they lose tonight 105-90, and they lost, almost a similar score on Friday night to the Pels, 101-94. So no Nikola Jokic, no juice, no dice for the Denver Nuggets. That's kind of the big story of the game, as Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and the rest of the guys just not good enough. All right, let me hit my first break. If you guys got any thoughts, if you're watching live, appreciate you guys. Drop some comments. Let me know how you guys are feeling out there. What's your biggest issue with the Denver Nuggets right now? What do you think Jamal and MPJ and the rest of the guys can do better moving forward without Nikola Jokic? Let me know your thoughts. We'll come back and chat about it right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Stick with me, folks. All right, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Betterhelp. Guys, take a moment to say thank you to someone in your life. Could be a therapist, could be your parents, whoever it might be. And, for me, it's definitely going to be my parents. It's going to be my coworkers. They help me out a lot and whatnot. And, therapy used to kind of be this big, scary type of dynamic, I feel like, right? Like, oh, I got to go to therapy. I don't need that, right? But in the society that we live in today, therapy is just an incredible tool to help people get through their tough times. And this month is all about gratitude. And along with the people that I just shouted out, there's another person that we don't get to thank enough, and that is ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we are trying our best to make sense of everything. And in this crazy world, that is certainly not easy. Here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge, guys. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba today to get 10% off your first month. Again, visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. And like I said, guys, there's no need to be afraid of therapy. It could, lead to some big changes in your life in a good way. So be sure to check out our friends over at BetterHelp. Convenient, flexible online therapy tailored just for you. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba to get started. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Thank you guys for rocking with me. If you're watching live on YouTube, appreciate y'all. Make sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I also host Locked On Broncos postcast and Locked On Buffs postcast. Big wins for the football teams here in Colorado. The Buffs yesterday, and BYU lost, which means Colorado's path is opening up a little bit. And the Denver Broncos today also getting the job done against the Atlanta Falcons. And of course, your Locked On Nuggets postcast, what you're watching or listening to right now. Appreciate y'all. Down night, down a couple of games for the Denver Nuggets. And, that the common denominator, like I said, in the last two games is not having Nikola Jokic out there. Gave you some of the stats from Dario Saric and the bench, or excuse me, from the starters, which includes Dario Saric, of course, along with the bench. But my big takeaway, man, is you have two max contract players that don't play like max contract players without your other max contract player. It's a little bit of a mouthful. But seriously, and look, like I said, does Aaron Gordon being out there, does that potentially change the outcome of this game? Is Denver maybe able to kind of D up a little bit and be a little bit stronger down low and make life a little bit tougher for Minnesota or for Memphis? Sure. Not having Aaron Gordon out there is definitely, going to inhibit Denver's abilities. But what can I tell you? What can I definitely tell you? Excuse me, tripping over my tongue there. Is the Nuggets have been without Aaron Gordon for a handful of games right now. And with Nikola Jokic out there, they went on a 5-game winning streak. That's what I can tell you. And so, again, the fact that you take Joker out of the equation for now 2 games and your other 2 max contract guys, and Jamal and MPJ, are just unable to shoulder the load, it's a problem. To be serious about it, it's a problem that we've all kind of known about, right? We've all been lucky, knock on wood, that, Nikola Jokic is not necessarily an injury-prone type of player. He's out right now for personal reasons, and I know there's some speculation that he may have maybe welcomed another child into the world, so congratulations to him, right? Like, I think Jokic is more than deserving of a night off here, a night off there, especially if it's because of a family situation like that. But the reality of the situation is also it shows you Denver's flaws. It shows you how they're Swiss cheese a little bit with holes in their game plan. And tonight, like I said about Aaron Gordon, would he help out there? Absolutely. But I don't think Aaron Gordon's helping Denver's lack of outside shooting. I don't think Aaron Gordon's helping Denver's spacing. I mean, Denver almost shot below 40% today from the field. They were 35 for 84 for 41.7%. Memphis, pretty bet, a decent amount better in that department. They also got off almost 10 more shots than the Denver Nuggets. Memphis was 41 for 91, 45% from the field. Denver today, 32-ish percent from three, 10 for 31. But again, Michael Porter Jr. struggling from three, did not convert one today. Jamal Murray, same thing. Memphis shot 33% from three, 13 for 39. Memphis just also beat up. This is where Aaron Gordon would certainly help. Is Denver got killed in the rebound department. 45 rebounds for the Grizzlies compared to just 39 for Denver. And, they also shot 83% from the free throw line. Did the Grizzlies. But Denver also a little sloppy today. 15 turnovers to Memphis's 13. Memphis was just cleaning up in the paint with 10 blocks to Denver's 5, 10 steals to Denver's 9, 31 assists to Denver's 23. And, they just also beat Denver with points in the paint, not by much, but 52-48. I mean, there's just a lot of question marks with this Denver Nuggets team without Nikola Jokic out there, man. Denver did have an 8-point lead at one point in this game. Memphis also led by as many as 24. But when you lack the outside shooting and when you lack the straw that stirs the drink, like I said in Nikola Jokic, it's going to be an uphill battle. And the fact that Julian Strawther, and I guess that's the silver lining, is Strawther did have a really nice game, and Strawther's going to have to be one of those guys off of the bench, off the bench that's going to have to really contribute on a night in and night out basis if Denver wants to have a chance to compete for another championship. 19 points tonight for Straw, 4 of 7 from 3. You see that when Julian Strawther gets hot, that he can catch fire there and score bucket after bucket after bucket. And that was a nice jolt off the bench. Unfortunately, it doesn't make a difference, as I mentioned, Denver only scores 90 points in this season or in this game, which is definitely unconventional for them. But without Nikola Jokic out there, again, things tend to fall apart. But, also defensively tonight, man, the Grizzlies, every single starter for the Grizzlies, with the exception of Jalen Wells, was a positive in the box plus minus. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr., the lone player in this game, has scored 20-plus points. We know that he's one of the best defenders in the NBA, which makes life a little bit harder for the Denver Nuggets. But he had 20 points tonight, 3 blocks, 6 rebounds tonight for Triple J. Scottie Pippen Jr. making an impact as well. He was a plus 12, 10 points, had a nice steal there in the middle of the fourth quarter. He was 2 of 7 from 3. The bench, while they didn't get like a ton of contributions, Jay Huff, old pal Jay Huff, contributed with a team leading 10 points off of the bench here tonight. Didn't really stuff the stat sheet, but another guy that got away from the Denver Nuggets. Now on Jay Huff, I don't think anybody really expected Jay Huff to turn into a legitimate role player. And it's still early, right? It's November the 17th. Like, let's see how he finishes out the course of the season. But again, the Nuggets have been struggling to figure out that backup center position for, it feels like, as long as Joker's been in the league. And to see Jay Huff, making a contribution on a team like Memphis, he was, I think, a two-way player to start the year and then got a contract. It's just like, huh? Like, we had this guy on our bench and now he's there contributing, right? And Saric was fine tonight. As they got him up on the screen here on the post-game show, he shot 40% from the field tonight, 10 boards, 10 points. It's a nice game from Saric, all things considered. Can he do that consistently off the bench? Because if they can do that, Denver might be okay. But it is just one of those situations where you look at Jay Huff and what he's doing. Is it time to talk about Malone's future? No, Daniel, it is not time to talk about Malone's future. I think Michael Malone is safe. Well, I guess when you think about it with the relationship with Calvin Booth, like if I'm Kroenke, if I'm Josh, and it's, I got to choose Malone or Calvin Booth, I'm choosing Michael Malone personally. And I understand that Malone rubbed some people the wrong way. He also did win a championship with this team less than 2 years ago. So let's not forget about that. But also, in regards to tonight's game, not having Nikola Jokic, is prime Greg Popovich winning that game? Is Phil Jackson winning that game? Maybe. I think it's more about Denver's personnel and the lack of firepower that they have without Nikola Jokic. But, the other thing in regards to defending Malone here, big picture-wise, is I think Jokic loves playing for him. And if Jokic loves to play for his coach, we're talking about the best player in the world right now, you keep the coach. That's how I kind of look at it. So I don't think Michael Malone is in any sort of danger unless, Josh Kroenke gives Calvin Booth the executive order to kind of make a change if he wants to, but I don't think that will happen. But like I said, in regards to the microcosm of tonight's game, I think this is more just about not having your guy out there. And is Malone responsible for trying to inject some life and some juice into his team? Sure. I saw him talking on the his post game interview, his scrum there. He was talking about how he felt like Jamal Murray was being grabbed and pushed around all game. Like, sure, there was some contact, but Jamal's got to be better than that, straight up. And I saw one of those stat muse memes where him and Austin Reeves for the Lakers have like very eerily similar stats so far throughout the year. Jamal has to be better. Simply said, Jamal Murray has to be better. Michael Porter Jr. has to be better. You got what you expected from Christian Brown. Like I said, Dario Saric was fine tonight. Russell Westbrook is Russell Westbrook. Julian Strawther popped up off the bench. Peyton Watson, should be playing off the bench, but he's not because of Aaron Gordon. The two guys that you look at tonight that you're frustrated with and you're wondering why they can't get it going without Joker are Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., and they are two max contract players that are mediocre without the big fella. That's a problem. Now, like I said, Nikola Jokic is a great player. Like, let's hope that he's back sooner rather than later. Like I said, he's been pretty durable with the injuries and whatnot. So as long as Jokic is out there, Denver's going to have a chance. But you see just how flawed this team is without Big Honey. That's the reality of the situation. All right, let me hit my final break, guys. When we come back, a couple of closing thoughts. If you've got any comments, any thoughts on the game tonight, any thoughts about the Denver Nuggets, go ahead and drop your comments. I'll push them up on the screen. We'll go back and forth a little bit as we begin to wind down on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Denver, tough loss tonight, 105-90 to the Memphis Grizzlies. Drop your comments. We'll read some when we come back right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Back in just a moment, folks. All right, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And guys, I say it every single time I do the FanDuel read. My phone is charging right now. Otherwise, I would hold it up. I'm an active FanDuel user. It is my personal favorite sportsbook. I know it'll be yours too. Congratulations to anybody that bet the Buffs yesterday. They covered the spread, win the game outright. The Denver Broncos do the same thing, covering that -2.5 spread. So shout out to anybody that cashed on those wagers. If you bet the Nuggets, there's always Tuesday. We'll see if they can bounce back. We'll see if Jokic is back. But be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel, guys, FanDuel.com. And one more time, make sure to take advantage of that promotion. If you're a new customer, you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. And guys, like I said, never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Well, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me on the program here tonight. Unfortunately, not a great showing from the Denver Nuggets as they lose 105-90. And if you're watching live on YouTube, really appreciate you guys rocking with me. Do me a favor if you can, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. That way you guys never miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. You guys can also follow me on social media at Media by AP. And I hate that I just have to kind of, keep talking about no Jokic, because that's what it is. Like, I mean, this is like having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with no jelly, or for Jokic terms, peanut butter and honey with no honey. Like, it's just bread and peanut butter, right? Like, you've got 2 of the 3 ingredients, but you don't have the sweetness, the sugar, what gives that extra flair and takes it over the top. That's what Nikola Jokic is to this team. And while it's up on my screen, the upcoming schedule for the Denver Nuggets: Tuesday against the Grizzlies, Friday against the Mavericks, Then they've got the Lakers on Saturday, so a back-to-back coming up before games against the Knicks and the Jazz. So all winnable games, I would say, specifically with Nikola Jokic. I don't think there's a single matchup there. We know that the game against Dallas was pretty tightly contested, but you got to feel pretty good about Denver's chances to win any of these upcoming games against Memphis, Dallas, the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Jazz, specifically if Nikola Jokic is out there. But again, to kind of put a bow on it, Jamal Murray and MPJ just not good enough today, man. MPJ, 10 points, minus 15, the box plus minus, 3 rebounds, an assist, 27 minutes played, and 0 of 4 from 3. Jamal Murray, not much better, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. You like the assists. You like the distribution from Jamal Murray. What you don't like is the 6 turnovers and the 1 of 6 from 3. That is what you don't like. And look, I get it. We're still under 20 games into the season, so it is still early. These guys are still trying to find their footing, right? So I guess you can give them a little bit of a pass there. But once again, the Denver Nuggets issues are glaring, wide open, like as wide as the Grand Canyon when it comes to not having Nikola Jokic out there. So they've got to hope that the big fella's back soon. Of course, he's been out with personal reasons for the last couple of games here. Hopefully, he'll be back on Tuesday. I haven't seen anything that suggests that he may or may not be back. So we just kind of have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll get some information coming in Monday evening and Tuesday morning in regards to his status. But if he doesn't play, it's another opportunity for MPJ and Jamal to go out there against a familiar opponent, the same team that they had played the night before, or the game before, excuse me. Let's see if they can bounce back and play like the max contract players that Denver hopes they can if Nikola Jokic is not out there. You won't have Aaron Gordon, although it sounds like he's making his return here sooner rather than later. Sounds like he's coming back and with his rehab process and whatnot. But you want to see, without Nikola Jokic, that the rest of the Nuggets starters are able to step up and at least, not look as bad as they have in the last 2 games. They've got to figure that out. They've got to figure out a way to drain, get the offense going. They've got to figure out a way to hit some threes. They've got to figure out a way to kind of share the sugar and just get some spacing going there on the floor. Outside of that, man, that's essentially all she wrote. Nice to see Vlatko out there again. He's kind of easing back into it. Didn't really make an impact tonight. DJ getting some minutes because of JJJ and Jay Huff as well. Russell Westbrook, 23 minutes tonight. And Julian Strawther, the lone bright spot, I would say, for the Denver Nuggets tonight. He was a minus 11, the box plus minus, but caught fire from beyond the arc. 4 of 7 from 3, 19 points total for Straw off the bench. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for me on tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. That's really all there is to talk about. Ugly game. Let's turn the page. Let's try to get Joker back and see if Denver can salvage at least a split in these 2 games against the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll see, folks. We'll see. Need Jamal, need MPJ to step up. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on the audio feed, appreciate you guys watching or listening over there as well. Thank you so much for your support. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And, we'll see if Denver can bounce back here on Tuesday against the Memphis Grizzlies. Your final score tonight, 105-90. Denver falls to 7-5 on the season and 2-3 on the road, but an opportunity to rally on Tuesday against the Memphis Grizzlies. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday night, and we'll talk to you guys on Tuesday night, folks. Have a good one.